Did you have any religions or belief structures pertaining to the hereafter, or where things came from, or who made the world, or any of that type of stuff?
I wouldn't say structures. We just knew that the earth was our mother and everything we had came from her. So we respected her, called on her sometimes if it was too hot and things were drying up, or if it got too wet and everything was washing away, or, I mean, things always settled down and worked out.
Okay.
As long as you respect Mother Earth, she respects you back.
So what did you make your weapons or your knives from? What material did you use?
Usually bone and rock.
So you'd sharpen them somehow?
Yeah,
And how would they be sharpened?
it would be kind of tricky depending on what bone it was. Most of the animals were small, so the knives were small. Wrap the small rocks, flat rocks,
You're getting a visitor.
on either side.
So, your kids, were they always well behaved?
Ha!
Did you have children of your own?
No.
Oh, were you married or?
No. Just was never meant to be.
Okay. What were your family structures like?
Well,
Were they just open and anyone could sleep with anyone, or did you
pretty
pair up?
much open, but a lot of times a pairing would last.
Were there any ceremonies with that?
Not unless the people someone wanted to say something specific and then gather everybody around and
Okay.
make a statement or two, whatever. And the kids pretty much were kids. And as a community, we look after them. Oh, hi. I didn't mean to smack you. No.
Oh, he gets smacked and stepped on, and he just greatly apologized to him by giving him lots of petties.
Oh, okay.
So, you had no kids. How many kids did you have in your village on average?
On average, I'd say about 10.
And you had how many adults on average?
And 25 or so.
And how many teenagers, if any?
Oh, well, kids grow up to be older kids.
So that 10 was including older kids.
Yeah, pretty much. Because then they start, as soon as they're capable, they start taking on adult responsibilities. Which,
Right.
granted, there weren't a whole lot.
No, not compared to today's society. So did you have a job or anything like that? Got for the tail.
Is that what that was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. He even licked Sarah's face.
Yeah.
And
Pretty much did whatever needed to be done. If we saw that somebody's house needed shored up a little bit, or added some clay to it or mud or whatever, or, we just stepped in and did whatever had to be done. It
Cool.
was kind of nice. I mean, that's not to say there were never any arguments,
Yeah,
but,
there's always a difference of opinion.
yeah.
Did you have a shaman or anyone like that in your group?
No.
Were there any shamans?
I think some communities had them, but we didn't have one. We were a small community and pretty much took care of ourselves and just individually or as a group, depending on how we felt, we would greet the sunrise and go about our day and have, like, I guess you could, she's saying the word powwow in the evenings if we were able to bring enough scrub together and light a fire.
So I take it then a fire was not something you had all the time.
Not all the time, but many times we did want to cook, especially if we got some meat, we'd want to cook it. And so we'd have to go out, and we'd all do it, go out and gather up whatever would burn so we could make a fire.
So you didn't keep a stockpile of that stuff in your village?
No. He left.
Yep.
No, but
He's coming around the other side.
we would take turns protecting coals so that we could just start up a fire again.
How would you protect the coal? The coals?
Keep it inside a little clay thing. And,
Like a little pot?
you know, like I said, and we would take turns so whoever had it would make sure it didn't go out, didn't burn out, go cold.
And how would you do that?
Blow on it periodically.
And would you also add some other fuels to it to keep them burning if needed?
I didn't normally need it. Maybe because we did use it more frequently than I might have,
Oh,
you know, given, I don't know how to say
yeah,
this.
I understand.
Okay.
You used them more frequently than you thought you did.
Yeah.
So did you have any, whenever you did catch a deer or a larger animal and you had a feast, was it all consumed or did you put some of it away for another day?
A little of both, maybe.
Yeah.
Because we could make jerky,
Oh,
Out of it.
okay. Excellent.
you know.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah. But we would eat our fill. Because we didn't know when the next time would be that
Yeah.
we'd have that. But, yeah. We'd all kind of pitch in. It was usually the women's job to make it, but sometimes we'd all help.
Yeah. So how'd you make the jerky?
Just pretty much thin slice it and lay it in the sun. Let it dry. That's pretty much all it was.
Okay. So you did this to raw meat or cooked meat?
Depends.
Just define the difference.
Sometimes cooked meat, but raw usually worked better.
Oh, okay. Did you have any insect infestations in your food?
Once in a while.
Bugs eating them and things
Yeah.
like that? And what did you do with
Ate the bugs.
that?
Protein.
Yep. That is very true. Yeah, I just had to chuckle a little bit about that.
It was all part of life.
Yep. So what were your beliefs back then about life and death? Did you believe in a afterlife experience, or did you not know it, or didn't you even care?
For the most part, we didn't get into it, I guess you could say.
So you didn't think
But
about it?
when someone passed from this life, we respectfully buried them. Because we respected who they were in this life. But we knew they had gone on to some other existence, and that was fine. That was good. It was all part of, death is part of life.
Yeah. It's a refresher period, renewal period. Okay.
I guess that's one way of looking at it.
That's the way I view it. Sarah has a similar view. So did you have anything made of wood that you prized? Since wood was so scarce, that's why I added the word prized.
Yeah. Not so much.
Okay. What was your main tool for catching wildlife?
How do I describe it? Kind of like a twine that we would make from plants.
Okay.
We, twist it and rub it and put it together and then make snares. It had to be tough.
Yeah.
And you had to have enough of it. It usually worked. Once in a while it would break. But
Did anyone develop the idea of braiding the snares together, make them thicker? I take it that means no.
no, at least not in my community. And
Okay.
nobody ever shared that with us. Huh.
Because that would make it stronger.
Yeah.
Not, if you put three together, it's not necessarily 3 times stronger, because you're still only as strong as the weakest link, so to speak, the weakest part, but it takes the stress off that weak part. So it's less apt to break.
I can see how that would help, yeah.
Okay. Did you have any twigs around?
Twigs.
Very thin branches. Maybe growing.
Maybe from the scrub.
Were they straight or curved or?
A mix, depending.
Okay.
We used that a lot for what you call kindling and to
Right.
get the fires going pretty good. They burned well.
So when you sleep, how did you sleep at night? On the ground, or
Pretty much on the ground.
did you have a bed or anything
Didn't
between
need
you
it.
and the ground?
Didn't need it.
Did you pull all the stones out from underneath you and so you make your place of rest as soft and smooth as possible?
Well, let me put it this way. When we would make our homes, we would do that smooth, the basic floor, I guess you could call it,
Okay.
and then build up the walls. It wasn't very big. We'd even leave some windows or holes
There you
to
go.
for air circulation and sometimes there was nothing else to do. We'd actually take some of the clay and build up what you would call a bed.
Oh. A raised surface. Off the
Yeah, a
floor.
raised surface off the floor. And if there, over the passage of time, the women would have made through trade or somehow, I don't even know how they did it, frankly, but they would have, I guess you could call it a mat or a pallet or something. I'm using her words now.
Okay.
Especially for the older folks to lie on, because, their bones get creaky in old age, and it would make things a little more comfortable for them. Kids would just fall on the floor and be out at night.
My kids still do today.
Yeah.
That mat that they we're on got me thinking of a few more questions. Are you familiar with what we call cattails?
No.
Okay, that means you didn't have any.
I mean,
They stood,
other than
yeah,
cougar tails and
they
Europe.
stood about 6 or 7 forearm lengths tall, and they had a little dark brown, hard top to them that was a lot thicker. And when they would ripen, that top thicker part would separate into seeds that would fly through the air, and that's how they would propagate.
Okay.
The reason I asked the question is that's a common type of reed around here. So I'm wondering what type of reeds, if any, you had in that area. Reed being a tall blades of grass. They grew in wet places.
Not much in the way of grass.
Okay.
Not tall grass.
Does that,
At least not around my community. I think there might have been some that did have that. But
okay. Whenever you did come across a cactus, did you use it for nourishment or food?
sometimes.
What would you do? It depend on the cactus, first of all.
Yeah, yeah. And some of them, their fruit was edible once you kind of peeled off the outer part.
Can you describe some of the cacti?
Just prickly. Some of them were
Yes.
short and squat, and some of them were tall and skinny, and some had lots of branches, and some did not. But they were all prickly.
Were there any that had like flat paddles?
Oh, I
We
know
call
what you
them
mean.
Prickly pears,
I've seen, yeah,
because those have very delicious fruits.
yeah.